Hey kids, Mrs. Carr here today, and we've set up a little target practice. So what's going to happen is we're going to do overhand throwing and we're going to do some underhand throwing. So we'll make sure to distinguish between the two. Please watch the video, take the tips, and practice the way it is shown so that way you can get better. Sometimes we make mistakes. Mistakes are awesome, but if we keep making the same mistake, we never give ourselves a chance to improve. So let's take a peek. We have our softballs. So obviously you don't have what I have, but certainly tap into your own imagination. Think about stuff you have in your house, stuffed animals, boxes, things, buckets that you can use. So the classic sock ball, you just take the pair, fold it inside. It creates a perfect, easy to hold throwing ball. So again, you've got your 4 fingers on one side, thumb on the other. You're up in the finger pads and you're making the check mark position. My armpit is open. I don't keep my arm down. That's a T-Rex arm. T-Rex are huge, but they have little tiny arms. So we open up. And what's gonna happen is when we are doing an overhand throw, I'm gonna stand behind the lid of the cooler just to remind you that if I'm looking right at the frog, toes, knees, hips, shoulders forward, if that were an underhand toss, then that would be fine. I would be square to the target. But this is going to be an overhand throw. So what I do is I take the hand that I write with and color with, that leg steps back, so I'm on an angle. I'm not totally sideways to it because then I'm blocking myself, but I'm going to take that same foot, the same leg, on the side of the body I throw it. I step it back a tiny bit. The weight's on the back foot. And I'm going to step across this lid and notice the back foot stays. That's the squishing of the bug. We pivot on that foot. That allows my upper trunk to rotate. We get shoulder rotation. If this shoulder is pointing towards you, opposite, the hand that does not have the ball, after I release the ball, the throwing arm shoulder is pointing to you. That's a trunk rotation. It's a very important part of the overhand throw. Notice also the ball is never near my head, so I don't bring it in. It's not a telephone. I don't take it over my head or hide it. I actually can look to the side and see it. It stays in my hand until my hand is reaching out to point to the target. So my target is the frog. I step to it. My feet are together. I'm gonna step. Yes. So after I do that, I set the frog back up, grab the ball, and then I move on to the next location. I leave that right here. The next one, come on over. We have this. This is the scrubber from a mop that we have at my house. Again, we have the socks. We take them, fold them in, make sure it's shaped like a ball, 4 fingers and thumb, check mark position. So opposite side of the body is stepping towards Yoda. I'm gonna put both feet on this mop so it shows that instead of toes, knees, hips forward for an underhand, we're going a bit sideways. I'm gonna step off of the front of the mop with my opposite foot, back foot stays. Notice the rotation. Check mark, this looks like an L, not a V taking a nap. The ball is never near my ear. It's out in front, there's always space, and then I reach. Ooh, I missed. So I would grab it, I'd come back, and then I try it again. So I hold on to that ball, my legs are bent, I reach, ooh, miss again. So if I keep missing, I could always go a little bit closer. So I want to make sure my hand is out. Yes. I don't want to make it too easy, but I also don't want to make it impossible. So I leave that there, move to the next zone. This one, again, of our sock ball. This is going to be an underhand toss. So underhand toss is different than overhand throw. Overhand throw, we're in the check mark position, the L, armpit open, ball away, shoulders rotate, back foot pivots, legs step in. Underhand toss, toes, knees, hips, shoulders are forward. So everything facing forward because I don't need to get that rotation of the shoulders to gain power. Now I need to be accurate. So I'm stepping with the opposite foot and I'm doing the tick-tock motion. So I'm going to put both feet on the circle. This could be a paper plate if you want, or a piece of paper, and then it's an underhand lift. Yes. Now notice I don't let go. If I were aiming towards you, I don't let go until I'm reaching for the target. So I don't go wild. My arm has to stay steady, like a pendulum. Straight back, straight forward, very controlled. From there, we go to the neck. Also, another softball, make sure that it's like a ball. It's gonna be another underhand toss. So remember, what do we think of? Toes, knees, hips, shoulders forward, square to the target, everything forward. Opposite foot is working at the same time as the opposite hand. So don't step first and then toss. That defeats the purpose of stepping together. Stepping together gives momentum to the motion. I'm gonna check on to the ring. Yes, and then I set it up. My next one is gonna be an overhand toss, so I come on over. Again, whatever toys you have, go for it. This seems to be a little close for me, so I'm gonna try to challenge myself. Both feet are gonna be on the circle. Again, overhand toss, so I'm checking with that check mark position. This foot here, notice all the weight's on the back foot. This I call the kickstand of the bike. So my toes are touching, but my weight is back. I'm gonna shift, and all of the weight will then be on the front foot, and the back foot does the pivot. So I release. Yes. This guy was in the movie Rocky. He was the boxer that went against Rocky. He just went down. Ah! Next, over here, Gonzo from the Muppets. Classic. He's gonna rest. Gonzo's having some trouble. Put him down there. This one I have a tennis ball. I'm gonna challenge myself and move back a little bit. This is gonna be an overhand throw. So check mark position, armpit open, L. The L is on the lined paper, so I don't drop it down like a V. Put the L on the lined paper, ball is away. I'm gonna step. Whoa, got him. From there, we're gonna move to the next. Like I said, you might not have the same items that I do. Be creative. We have our 3 cups on top of our stool. A little clementine. So be creative with what you're using. This is also an underhand, not an underhand, it's also an overhand throw. Check out my feet. My feet are shoulders distance apart, so not too wide, but not too close. They're touching the starting circle. This arm is up. I don't need to point. That's not what's going to make me hit the target. This arm is up, it's bent. This arm's here to help bring the shoulder forward of the throwing arm. So pointing doesn't make you hit it. This is what's going to give you the chance at hitting the target. How controlled you are with this arm. We don't hide it, we don't lift it up, we keep it in our hand, and we don't let go until we see the target. After it leaves our hand, we follow through to the opposite pocket of our pants. So I release, and then it's almost like the line of an X for my follow through. So I step, I set that up, but then we'll go to the last one right here. This one, I have 2 tennis balls. Like I said, if you don't have any of these types of things, be creative with what you have. I'm gonna do an underhand toss, and I want the ball to stay in. So check out my feet. The difference between overhand, side to the target, versus underhand, square to the target. No shoulder rotation, just stepping in gently. So I check my feet, step and release. Ooh. And I look, tick, tock, nice. And what I would like you to do is go through the cycle as many times as you feel comfortable. This should be about a 20 to 25 minute activity. Take your time, exaggerate the motion. It's better to go slow and steady than to just do it wildly. Give yourself a chance to improve, check the mistakes, and be brave enough to correct them. Good luck, have fun.